There's a trick to writing talking points. Hey, I am Chuck the bureaucrat, and a little while ago, Major Riley wrote a ghost note for General McNulty so that they could get information on Project Calliope. And then they bumped into each other in the hallway, and General McNulty gave Riley one of those classic Pentagon attaboys. No, he did not say, "Good job with the ghost note there, Riley." What he said was, "Hey, you work on Project Calliope. Get me some talking points by noon." I know, it does not sound like a compliment, but here we have Major Riley's senior rater recognizing him on sight. He knows what projects he's working on, and more importantly, he's trusting Major Riley with a time-sensitive task without running it through Colonel Thompson. That's a positive sign, and Riley naturally wants to do a good job. Now, you'll remember that when they were writing the ghost note, Riley got a lot of editorial help from Colonel Thompson's deputy, Gary. In fact, Gary taught Major Riley the technique that they finally used to get the data they needed. So Riley heads straight for Gary's office to see if there's anything he should do in preparing these talking points. Gary mutes himself from the call he's on while Major Riley breathlessly describes what he needs. And then he says, "What meeting is this?" Riley says, "I don't know." "Who's it with?" "I don't know." "Do you have read-aheads?" "You mean the briefing slides?" "Nope." Gary looks at his watch. "And you got to get all of this done in the next hour." So Gary takes a calming breath and says, "Here's what you do. A good talking point is going to have 3 forms. A 3 to 5 word title that captures the essence of the talking point. A single sentence that clearly states the point, and 1 or 2 additional sentences to clarify or reinforce the point." And Gary says, "Knock out a quick draft as fast as you can, text only, no formatting, and get it to me. Colonel Thompson is tied up with that hiring board until this afternoon, so CC her, but make it clear you're working with me. As soon as you've done that, pop up to the front office and ask Sherry for anything she has on the meeting. But don't wait around. Get what you can get and get back here." Gary turns back to his call and says, "Sorry about that, Beth. You said the secretary sent it back again?" When Riley gets back from the front office, Gary has already formatted up the texts for the talking points. But first, Gary says, "What did Sherry say?" "She said that Lieutenant General Kurtz invited General McNulty and Foster to a 15-minute stand-up meeting at 1 o'clock. At least we've got some wiggle room between noon and the meeting." And Gary is like, "Oh no, that wiggle room belongs to General McNulty. You're going to get this to him on time or early so he has an opportunity to ask follow-up questions." And then Gary says, "Listen, since we don't have a lot of time, I've already shaped up these talking points. The idea here is that we don't know exactly what he needs. He might just have a few seconds to convey these points, or he might have to give General Kurtz something for a bigger meeting. So what we want to give him clear, simple snippets and something that can be read as a script. The key here is simple declarative sentences, no compound, complex stuff that's impossible to sight read." And as Gary's finishing up the talking points, he says, "Now look, I'm going to email this to you. You save a copy on your computer, rename it so you keep version control, and then start a new email. Send your copy directly to General McNulty. CC Colonel Thompson, Sherry, and me. In the body of the email, include something like, 'I reviewed this with Gary.' Then print 2 hard copies, take them up to the front office, and tell Sherry you're there to see the general. Do not leave the front office until you talk to the general, or I come get you." And with that, Riley goes scurrying off. And Gary looks at his watch and he says, 12 minutes to spare. That's just enough time to watch a video on how to become a better bureaucrat."